So I have a question for you, and you don't really have to answer right now. And we shall come back and revisit this question at the end of this talk. But think about it, yeah? So if you can have a trouble-free life, would you want that life or not? Okay, so if you can have a trouble-free life, would you want to have that kind of life or not? Okay, so that's the question I want you to think about it, and we'll come back to that at the end of this talk. I'll share with you two stories, yeah? So one was, I was in college and I was failing a class, and I felt so disappointed in myself. And I was calling my dad. I was in the States at the time, so I called my dad. I was crying because I feel like I was disappointing him for failing. And to my surprise, he was so chill about it. He wasn't angry. He didn't give me any messages or rebuking me of any kind. So he was really cool about it, right? So that's surprising. But in my heart, I was so disappointed in disappointing him. So that's one thing. Another one was I was in junior high. So most of your age are probably in that group right now. I was in international school overseas, and I took sports studies, which is different from PE. That's part of the IGCSE class as well. I had to learn how to do butterfly stroke. It was my first time. And if you're a swimmer, you know that butterfly stroke is the hardest stroke there is in swimming, right? So I had to do it. And not surprisingly, I flopped like a whale instead of gliding like a butterfly, and my teacher at that time said, okay, everybody stop. Grace, you do it yourself. Everybody look at Grace. This is what you're not supposed to do when it comes to butterfly stroke. So I was so shocked she did that. I was so embarrassed. I felt so shameful. I was very ashamed at the time. So actually, when we feel something, we have all those feelings that you mentioned just now, right? Sadness, frustrations, anger. We're so paralyzed by the feeling of failures, right? We are embarrassed. And in fact, just now when I was asking you that question, I don't know if all of you actually raised their hand, but the reality is all of us have failed in the past. And I can assure you that everybody, even right now, we are still failing. And in the future, we will still fail. I'm in healthcare, and I can guarantee that one day we will all fail because our brain will fail us, and that's the end of our life on this earth, right? So every day we actually fail more than we succeed. It is actually more common to fail than to succeed. How many of you have set your alarm for 6 a.m. in the morning? You hit the snooze button and you slept for another 30 minutes. I've done it many times. I'm sure you have too. How many of you have forgotten to bring your keys or your wallets or your phone when you leave the house? That's a failure, right? How many of you try to be healthier, but then you see the cake in the kitchen, you can't resist, and you say, oh, forget it. I'm going to start tomorrow with my diet or whatever it is, right? We actually fail more. In one single day, we fail more. When you delay doing something, when you're procrastinating, when you're forgetting to do something, it's all failures. And it is so common to every single one of us, even the successful people, even, the rich people, the smart people, the celebrities, everybody has failed, right? And yet, why is it when we talk about failures, we feel like we are the minority, we are the exception, we are such losers for failing. Just now, some of you, thank you for being open about it. You said that you cannot even get out or do anything. Why is that? Failures are more common than accomplishments and successes. But when you hear everything in the media or all these talks, you hear about successes, right? So I want to share with you my own personal failures in my stories. That's why I didn't provide any slides, to tell you all my achievements. I want to share with you all my failures. So just now the poll is correct. I did an app. So at that time in 2012, you guys are too young probably, but the mobile phone industry was very fragmented. Android was very, very beginning at the time. Apple was already there, but it was not as popular as it is today because it was very expensive to do Apple. We had Nokia, we had BlackBerry that was very, very popular in Indonesia. We have Windows, of course, Sony Ericsson, and so on and so forth, right? And so Apple at that time had one app that was so good in doing its job, but that app was only for Apple. Can anyone guess what that app was? You can unmute, by the way, because I can't really see anyone raising their hands. Anybody knows what that app was? Any guesses? Wait. No, it's not. It's not iMessage. It's not the App Store. What app was it? An Apple that was so popular that some people even bought an iPhone just to have that app. Anybody? YouTube? No. Actually, it's Instagram. It's Instagram. right? Their job is just simple. At the time, they didn't have all these bells and whistles. They didn't have stories, reels, and all of these things, right? They only had 8 or 10 filters to make your pictures more beautiful. But everybody was so jealous because all the Apple users, the pictures will turn out well. So I used BlackBerry. I didn't want to buy an iPhone just because of the Instagram. So I grabbed another programmer and we both just created our own app for BlackBerry, for Instagram for BlackBerry called BB Cam. So we didn't do budgeting, we just launched it, blindly. It was my first entrepreneurial journey in technology. And so it was pretty good, actually. We had 300,000 users around the world. In fact, we were used more in Brazil than in Indonesia. We went into the finalists for the Tech in Asia competition. We were one of the most popular downloaded apps for BlackBerry. But from the story that it was a failure because I was using a platform called BlackBerry that was dying, right? So I failed. So I thought, okay, for my next project, I think my problem is with my business plan. I didn't have someone who can help me in terms of the business part of it. So I chose a partner whose resume was so good. He had a lot of background and experience in e-commerce and technology space. So, and I chose an industry in healthcare that's where I'm from, right? And so we did a website called Pilih Dokter. And of course, none of you have heard that because again, it was a failure. And so we launched it. I put him on the contract, paid him accordingly, everything legal, right? But after one year, we also could not get the monetization going on. So I told him, okay, you know what? We're not gonna continue this company. And he was really unhappy about it. And you know what happened? He actually sabotaged me and my company. He copy pasted the whole source code of the website. And I'm saying exactly the same, line by line, every single letter, every single word. It was copied to another website. He published it. He shut me off of our own company's social media account, even though it actually belongs to me, right? Even though I did everything legally when I ended the contract. So that's a failure as well. And I can also share with many, many other failures, even until now. Not all my projects are successes, right? Even if they're successful, that's not the end of the story, right? I mean, you have heard a lot of companies who are 100 years old, who are too big to fail, and yet they fail, right? If we are still living on this earth, we cannot say that's the end of the story. So that's not what I'm sharing with you today. But today's theme, TEDxYouth, right? It's about aspire to inspire. And it's a mouthful, yeah? Aspire to inspire. But this is so important. And I want to share with you why I chose this topic today. My dad actually shared me this story many years ago, and this is so good. I hope you can enjoy this as well. So imagine you're walking, and then suddenly you trip over something and you fall. There are three types of responses from 3 different types of people. The first one is you will fall, just get up and walk again. You don't know what caused you to fall. So that's the first one. And of course, we don't want to be the first one. But you have the second one, which is better. So you fall, then you look back and you see, oh, there's a banana peel that makes me fall. So I'm going to be more careful next time to avoid, the banana peels so that I will not make the same mistake. So most of us are like that, right? We have learned from our failures, from our mistakes, so we will not make the same mistake again. But again, today's theme is about inspiring other people. There's the third person that we should aspire to be. That's the person where he falls, he sees what makes him fall, he gets up, he learns from it, but he also realizes that banana peel can cause other people to fall. So he removes the banana peel out of the way so other people after him would not make the same mistake that he did. So that's what I'm trying to share with you today. Failures are very common. And sometimes we are given failures by the higher being, by the supreme being, because actually we are here to inspire other people through our failures. Imagine if we have Bill Gates right now giving you the talk, and he only shares with you all his success stories. How can you relate to someone like him? Your starting point, right, is different from him. You want to become the next Bill Gates, you can never be. For example, he is white male. I'm an Asian female. So that's already a different starting point. He went to Harvard, even though he dropped out, but he had the grades to go to Harvard. Some of us might not be able to get into Ivy League, right? So it's a different starting point. We cannot relate. And then he majored in computer science, which is, of course, a hot ticket, is a high demand industry. Some of you might major in arts or literature, maybe not so in demand, right? So if people share with you their success stories only, you cannot relate because you can imagine, wow, it's so different. Yeah, of course I cannot be like him. But imagine if Bill Gates today shares with you all his failures, all his mistakes, then you can relate because now you have your own starting point and you know who you're supposed to be on your own terms, who you are yourself. You're not becoming the next Bill Gates, not next somebody else, not the next Steve Jobs. You're just being yourself, but a better version in the future as well, right? But now you know, okay, you're going alongside on your path, on your journey, and then you have this mistake that you heard about Bill Gates making it. So now you can learn from his mistake and how he did it and how he overcome that, and you learn from that. That's how you can inspire other people. The same thing here. Imagine if a lottery winner suddenly wins $100 million and he tells you about all this money, how to be rich. Would you be inspired by that? No, because he did not go through any challenges. He did not go through any problems. He just had luck on his hand to be able to win that amount of money. So you cannot relate to someone like that, right? So that's why all our failures have been given to us so we can learn, yes, that's one thing. But more important thing is to inspire other people, is to help other people. It could be as simple as you helping your younger siblings. It could be you in SPH right now in your schools helping the younger students, younger grades in your school, right? It could be a lot of things. Even older people can help, younger people can help the older people as well. But I can guarantee you that your failures can help more people than telling you about the success stories only. I'm involved in a mentorship program. And my mentees always ask me for stories of my failures. All 6 of them in the past 1 year have never asked me for my success stories. They've always wanted to know, what did you fail and how did you learn from that? You see that? That's only 6 people. So I can imagine that more people actually want to hear our failures than our successes. So today, my burn for this talk, my message for today's talk, and question that I asked you just now in the beginning, would you want to have a trouble-free life? If you are here today because you want to inspire other people, I hope that your answer will not just be a simple, yes, I want a trouble-free life. It could be good for you, but not necessarily for other people around you. But if you can decide that, yeah, it's not going to be hard, it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be a pleasant to have a troubled life, and I'm not asking to go purposely looking for troubles or making mistakes purposely, but realizing that it's normal to fail, embrace the feelings and learn that and realize that all of these things actually for the good of other people, then you can accept that failures are okay. And let me just end this on a very important note. Fail is a verb. When you fail, when you make a mistake, it's a verb, okay? It's not a noun. When you fail, you're not a failure. When you make a mistake, you are not a loser. Don't make that verb into a noun. Let's normalize the idea of failure. It's okay to fail. Especially today with the mental health situation of the young people of this pandemic, everybody's going a little nuts, right? In our head, in our mind, in our hearts. We need to really realize this, that it's okay to fail. And we are not failures when we do that. But let's turn it around so that our failures can inspire other people. Thank you, guys.